So, a very warm welcome to the second episode of our Women in BPM interview series. As mentioned in the first session, our goal is to give women in BPM a voice. We want to learn about their journey. We want to get insights into their very own success stories. We want to understand their challenges and also maybe understand why women are good at BPM. And last but not least, we may have some fun facts too into the discussion. So it's my pleasure to welcome you today, Sarah. Welcome to the Women in BPM interview series.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And you know what? I know Sarah from Philips, where she was a lead process architect, and she had a huge responsibility in supporting the transformation projects at Philips. And you know what? That's why I wanted to have her today. So welcome again. But as I mentioned, I know this part of your story, but I don't know everything of your story. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more about your background, your history, and also why you came to the BPM topic?
Absolutely. My pleasure. My name is Sarah. I'm now 47 years young. I was born and raised in Switzerland, and I now live for already 16 years in the Netherlands. I started my career with an economics diploma and a teacher education in my backpack. Chose to start, instead of teaching, start to work in a business operations in a Swiss locally operating company in the trade sector. And after already a short period of like 1.5 years working experience, I was promoted to become a team leader and assigned the task to merge 3 small departments essentially in one bigger department, which was a great learning for me at the point in time. And just when I rounded that assignment up, we were acquired by a French-based international group. And that was essentially the start of my now almost 20 years long journey into IT, process automation and process management. Because we were at that point in time, I was brought into a greenfield SAP implementation as a subject matter expert from the business. And I rolled into the world of IT and business process management. I had several roles, from business process expert. I was an SAP SD consultant in global rollouts. And so eventually I ended up as a principal and lead consultant in query to cash in a competence center at a customer here in the Netherlands. And then the last 7 years, I actually enjoyed the role of lead process architect at the Business Process Management Center of Excellence at Philips, which was in business transformations. And now I just very recently made the move into the consulting firm I'm now working for. And I'm here the business unit lead of the business unit transformation services. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's a good summary. Thank you. Was there anyone specific or anything specific that inspired you within your journey, leading to today where we are talking?
Yeah, I think from a personal level, I always had a consistent drive to become a better version of myself. I also really much enjoy seeing people around me grow and learn. And I somehow strive to bring that spirit also to the companies I work for. And that's kind of my small contribution I feel I can make to make the world a better place. But when I look to my career, the drive I had there, or essentially was driven by asking the question why. I really want to understand the true objective, the true problem, what we actually have, or the company has, or the department has, and find a solution for it. And I still enjoy to learn about and understand the true requirements of a business and translate this into solutions. And I think following this why question, it eventually brought me to the whys of the company. So why do we need to transform our businesses? Why do we need processes? How can they help bring the strategy to life? And how can we translate the strategy into executable capabilities? So I think that's how I ended up where I am today.
That's a really cool summary, and I would like to jump on that because I would say that you already answered it a little bit. But why do you think that some women, and as I say in all interview series, it's not only women, but why do you think that women are good at BPM and process management?
I thought about that.
Very
Also,
good.
thanks to your inspirational request here. When I started with the rollouts of the SAP rollouts, the global rollouts, and essentially also in the competence centers I worked at the customers, I was the only woman for I think a decade at least. Some occasion I saw another woman somewhere, but when I reflect back now, it is, I think, also due to my willingness to adopt. I somehow became one of the guys. And I would like to emphasize that my observation of behavioral skills that help within leadership or in predominantly and traditionally male-dominated environments can not only be attributed to gender, it is also character. But I do think it's fair to state that we still live in a kind of conditioned mindset and a hidden bias that is built up in hundreds of years of patriarchy. And I did observe several times that women were not promoted, overlooked, or even mistreated due to that unconscious bias. And if you ask me, I think there are two skills that are particularly important in leadership and in BPM and IT that women are very good at. Women are very good at self-reflection, and women are very good at listening to understand, right? And on one hand, it's always two sides. So on the self-reflection, why do I say that? What I observe often with women is that we tend to point the finger at ourselves. We look for the mistake within ourselves. And essentially, that's a good thing because we are all responsible for our actions, correct? But we shouldn't make it heavier than it is. We shouldn't blame ourselves because not only ourselves, because if we take all the blame, then the outside world also puts the finger towards us. And I think that leads to insecurities and also, yeah, it really, can be very overwhelming. So I think it's a good skill, but we need to be wary to not be too hard on ourselves as women and also evaluate the other parts surrounding us. And the other thing I think we're good at, that to listen to understand, it's also a bit bittersweet if I think about it, because I think women were forced in the past to listen. We didn't really have a choice. We were the weak gender and we had to do what we were told for a big part of our history. And I think that forced us to learn to listen to understand. And we are now very, very good at it. And it's essential skill to really be good at business process management, by the way, also for leadership and IT. But also here, I think we should be careful not to fall into our old role and just listen and serve. We must listen and voice our own views and solutions and needs so that we are really taken seriously and we're not just listening, taking in and not bringing in our own, point of view. So yeah, that's my observation.
Thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed by all the questions I now have in my mind, and I'm basically prepared, but whatever. I think it's a logical next step now in our discussion. What would you advise women in BPM or women in this male-dominated environment? It can be IT, it can be leadership, it can be anyone, anything else. what would you advise the other women to get
Mhm.
to the point where you are right now?
Yeah. I think three things. First of all, trust yourself. Be your authentic self. Second, keep in mind, men are kind of simple. They can be really, I mean, it's not, we make stuff much more heavy. We carry it with us. We are really concerned to not hurt people or to care for others. And I'm not saying men don't do that, but they can be really a fight between two men, and they go out of the room and they forget about it. They simply forget about it. And we women, we still walk around weeks after. What did I do wrong there? Why did that happen? And let it go, because it's like men find that, I think, complicated to deal with, and it doesn't really help ourselves to feel better and to get over it. And then the third thing, there is a TED Talk I advise you to look at. It's a TED Talk of Susan Colantuono. I'm not sure I say it right. It's called The Career Advice You Probably Didn't Get. It was eye-opening to me, but also to my male manager at the point in time. What Susan does is she talks about a 33% gap on why women are stuck often in middle management and don't make it to the top. And these 33% are essentially linked to a gap of focus and knowledge in business, strategic, and financial acumen. So kind of women often did not get the memo that in order to make it to top management or to be in a leadership position, you must educate yourself and focus on the business, where it is headed, and what is your role and contribution to bring the business towards that objective. There was a quote that stuck with my manager for a long time. He came back to that often. When a global company executive was asked to reflect, he states, I had two protégés, a man and a woman. I helped the woman build confidence, and I was teaching the man to learn the business. I didn't realize that I was treating them differently. That's what this manager, this global executive said. And I think that's essential. Women somehow always are, people think we need coaching on our confidence, on who we are, our branding. But essentially, the guys are not that busy with that part.
So they save time.
They save time. Very true. Yeah.
Cool. Then we're going to share this link somehow connected to the interview, because I think it's really enlightening for many of our people listening to this interview. So now we were very serious. I would like to start a little game with you. Sure. It's called This or That. And yeah, you can answer, very short one answer, or you can answer a little bit more if you like. Okay. So the first one would be morning or evening?
Oh, evening, definitely evening. I need my quiet space in the morning.
All right. Another one, nature or city?
That's difficult. Nature, but also sometimes city. I couldn't choose. I think I need it's difficult.
Okay. Oh, you don't need to choose. Both is good, right?
Yeah.
Then a BPM related one. Risk or compliance?
These are difficult questions.
Yes.
I think risk.
Any reason why, or just gut feeling right now?
No, I think it's more the risk-based approach. I find it more efficient. Yeah, and effective.
Okay. Let me take another one, which I love because I'm French. Wine or beer?
Wine.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good girl. Good lady. But you live in the Netherlands, right?
Yes, correct. So I'm not always fitting in.
Okay. Then let me take another one from Aris. BPMN or EPC?
BPMN.
Okay. And the last one, car or bike?
I'm afraid to say car. I'm kind of lazy.
Everyone says that. I think I'm the only one with a bike.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much. So that was a short game in the middle. So now I have a few more questions for you, which are more business related. So how would you describe business process management? Maybe to your, to your grandmother. So how do you describe that in a simple words that everyone understands?
Yeah, to my grandmother, I probably would say business process management brings the world together within a company that has all the aspects of what we try to achieve, what we need, what information we need, and how we want to process it into achieving the objectives that the company has.
Okay. Nice. Is there anything specific that excites you about business process management? Why do you like that?
I think I'm kind of a nerd somewhere deep inside. And I really like processes. I think that's something it's kind of the process thinking that is inside of me. But what I also really like is the variety of stakeholders that you get to work with, because it's top down, left, right, everybody from IT, from business, from end-to-end value chains. You have the top executives down to the manufacturing, everything. So I find is really nice. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Jumping on that one, maybe. What do you think will be in this area or in our business lives the next big hot topic?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I mean, we're always, robotic at this point in time. And especially during the pandemic, I think we also found out that working remote is working well. We see that in healthcare with the telehealth still increasing. I'm not sure whether this is a prediction on the whole topic, but I do feel we really find our ways now in these hybrid environments between robots and humans and online and offline, and how we can still connect with each other in all kinds of ways and channels.
Okay. Now and jump to the more private things. So what would you say, how you achieve or not to maintain some kind of a work-life balance?
Yeah,
with your job?
It's difficult. It's difficult, but what helps me personally is I own a horse. So, and that horse needs to have attention nearly on a daily basis. And when I'm there, I forget the rest of the world. So I think that's the kind of balance which I have, and it's kind of a must. So it's not an opt-in, opt-out where you have like the gym where you think, oh, I'm not feeling like it today. Mm-hmm. So that helps to maintain a balance. But I think it's difficult because we are now online all the time. We have our emails on our phones. It's I think important to manage yourself really specifically and be strict and disciplined about having the breaks you need to be able to perform well.
Do you have any specific advice on this self-management? Because I think it's a very difficult point for many persons and women.
Mm-hmm. I think not just women. I think also the men I see are working too much, and it's also to do with reflection, in my point of view. What I do is at least once a week, I block half an hour where I remind myself I need to reflect. And I became really strict with it. And when you reflect, you also see when you are lived by the outside world and you are not anymore on the track that you wanted to be. Yeah, for me, that's kind of you have to be strict about planning something that is for you and stick to it. No matter, even if like the Pope comes along, you still stick to it. My work is also important to me. I like to work, but indeed, so there are more things to it. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, balance all the important things. So of course, work is an important part. I would directly agree with that. But also the horse, the children, the partner, whatever. So
exactly.
And having fun sometimes it's also good. Well, we can have fun at work. That's also one thing.
That's a very important point, indeed. Yes.
And one very last point: is there anything that you would like to mention today, or you thought about before while preparing, and we didn't talk about it? Is anything to add to what you said already?
Maybe the only thing I would like to add to all like the women working in male-dominated environments, I think don't be impatient, because we have to make up some time we have lost. My mom, for example, she was legally not allowed to sign a contract until she was 42 years old. That's now only 40 years ago. So we came a long way, and I see a lot of women, very smart women now, really changing the ways they're educated, their careers are advancing. They also ask their husbands or partners to help with the children. It's not so a bit of patience we need to have, and I'm sure like in 20 years, we will not have this discussion anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be old-fashioned. I hope so.
Yes.
These are perfect final words. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks for taking the time to discuss on that.
Absolutely.
I'm thrilled to have so many great women talking with me about this topic. So you are the second in the row. In next month, we're going to start again with a new interview series, but it's secret. I don't tell you who's going to come next. So thanks, everyone. Take action. Be patient, I learned. And hold together and get ready for the future. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Charlotte.